College Station ISD is hosting an event to help children in need while also honoring a former student who died in a car wreck. We'll have more. And College Station is getting ready to start enforcing a sign ordinance that was relaxed during the pandemic. What local business owners need to know about sign regulations next. Your 25 News starts right now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Naya Gonzalez. One local family is hosting a donation drive for the children of College Station. The drive is also to memorialize a young Brazos County resident who died 3 years ago. KRHD reporter Rebecca Fiedler gives us a look.
When a College Station teenager was killed in 2018, his family was devastated. His special love for collecting shoes has inspired a community effort that could make a difference in the lives of so many students.
Jason, if you knew him, was a lover of life. He had a great smile and a great sense of humor. He really never met a stranger.
Wendy Williams' son, Jason Wright, was killed in a car accident near Tyler in 2018. That day, the community lost not only a former football player for A&M Consolidated High School, but a friend and loving family member. As Wright's family searched for ways to cope during the grieving process, his mom reflected on one special interest the teen had.
So one of the things that he started to love very early on, from age 10, was shoes. So when he got his first pair of shoes at our house, it was one of the most exciting things for him. And so as he got older, that just kind of was a bright spot, something to look forward to.
When considering ways to honor Wright's memory, Williams was drawn to the idea of sharing her son's hobby of collecting shoes with kids who may not have their own shoes.
I feel like every kid in our area should be able to start school with a new pair of shoes that fit. And it makes a difference on day one. It's just a confidence booster to walk in there with shoes that fit.
With the help of some local connections, Jason Wright's family have started Kicks for Kids, a shoe drive benefiting College Station ISD's program, Chrissy's Closet. Pairs of newly purchased shoes, sized for kids and grown teenagers, can be donated all month at Elms Orthodontics in College Station, Daniel Stark Law Firm in Bryan, or Living Hope Church of College Station.
The community response has just been amazing so far. A lot of people have asked and how they can help and how they can help spread the word. I know at the Elms Orthodontics shoe location, they have at least, I think, about a dozen pairs of shoes there. There's been monetary donations coming in as well. Chrissy's Closet has updated us that they're about at $1,000 donated so far through the middle of the month, so we're really excited about that.
Anyone interested in honoring Jason Wright and giving shoes to students in need can visit the Facebook page Kicks for Kids BCS, which can help direct you towards online monetary donations made through the College Station ISD website. The family also hoped to place more donation boxes at interested businesses around the county.
We are just an average family from College Station, Texas, that are trying to just give back and honor our son in the process.
Remembering Jason Wright. Reporting in Bryan, Rebecca Fiedler, KRHD News.
Texas House Democrats are in Washington, D.C. tonight, and it's causing some confusion for those at the state capitol during the special legislative session. Our Dennis Turner joins us now to help explain what's going on.
Why did Texas lawmakers hop a plane to Washington, D.C.? The lawmakers felt they had no choice but to use that one little maneuver, that one thing, the last resort, that stops the clock and denies the leadership of a quorum. What's a quorum? Glad you asked. It's the minimum number of people needed to take any legal action, like passing a law. Lots of organizations set the number required for a quorum in their bylaws. In the Texas Senate, which has 31 members, they need at least 20 to get the job done. That's 2/3. Over in the House, a body of 150 members, they need, again, 2/3 or 100 people. Any less than that does not constitute a legal Texas legislature. Now, the leadership and the administration can order their arrest and force them back to work, but only if they stay within the friendly confines of Texas. So, running off to them thar hills puts a stop to just about everything, for now. While Democrats say they stand on principle, If this drags on with nothing done, some experts say it could backfire on them.
Representative Goodwin, Representative Tallarico, Representative Weiner. And so if they do not return to work, they're risking losing their jobs as state representatives for not showing up.
Figuring that voters would send them packing because nothing was getting done. But at least we taxpayers do get a small benefit. With the sessions halted, we don't have to pay for them.
I thought the governor did just exactly right by withholding their pay. Because if you're not going to work, why get paid? You know?
That's the way it works in most places. But since no lawmakers I know depend on their legislative check to pay rent, withholding that $200 a day we give them is going to have a minimal impact. But the governor does have other tools at his disposal. What doom might Greg Abbott have planned for his Democratic runaways? The answer to that question coming up tonight at 6. Dennis Turner, 25 News.
And back in the Brazos Valley, the city of College Station says they have been sensitive to the struggles that loomed over local businesses, including sign regulations. KRHD News reporter Hannah King explains why some signs are allowed but some aren't.
The sign ordinance has been in place for over 10 years. During the pandemic, to help businesses out, enforcement efforts were relaxed. Now, code enforcement officers are re-educating businesses about the ordinance. Julie Kaler, a code enforcement officer with the city of College Station, says freestanding signs and small bandit signs on street corners have been an issue. The sign ordinance is in the city's Unified Development Ordinance, a zoning ordinance including these signs, making sure certain signs are permitted and the ones that are not allowed are taken down, limiting visual clutter. Kaler says if signs are inside a business complex or lot, that is okay, just not against the right-of-way near the road, creating a hazard.
We want compliance. You know, citations are not our first option. That's not what we strive to do. We strive for education. So the last thing that we want to do is issue that citation. Kaler says there have been tons of new local businesses sprout up over the course of the pandemic, and many may not know this type of ordinance exists. We speak to one business whose doors opened during the pandemic, coming up at 6. Reporting in College Station, Hannah King, KRHD News.
Prices surged at their fastest pace in 13 years during the month of June. From May to June, the Consumer Price Index increased by 0.9%. That's a 5.4% increase from last year. Inflation has been going up due to several factors, including supply chain issues and high demand for goods. Economists, the Fed, and the White House agree that this inflation is only temporary. States that ended pandemic unemployment benefits early can restart the programs. This is the latest from guidance from the Biden administration. It warns that there could be a break in payments for some people. If states opt to restart the programs, some might need to enter a new agreement with the Labor Department. Popeye's adding nuggets to the menu after the popularity of its chicken sandwich. Popeye started the so-called chicken sandwich wars in 2019 when it first introduced its new chicken sandwich. The item sold out in less than 2 weeks and encouraged other fast food chains to add or update their own chicken sandwiches. The nuggets roll out on July 27th. Coke Zero getting a makeover. That means a change in the look of the can and the taste of the beverage itself. The company is altering the recipe to try and make it taste more like regular Coke. As for the appearance, the can will be all red going forward instead of red and black. The new Coke Zero comes out this month.
As we look ahead to the new school year, states are taking action on vaccines and what will be required. At least 7 states are enacting legislation specific to public schools prohibiting them from requiring either COVID vaccines or proof of vaccination for students. Public health leaders are concerned that this could hurt efforts to control COVID and emerging variants. Meanwhile, the CDC's new guidance for schools is that they should fully reopen in the fall. That is, even if they can't take steps to curb the spread of COVID. But Chris Conti shows us how a new program is helping schools reopen safely, even if students can't get vaccinated.
Come along to the nurse's office with Braxton.
Good morning, Braxton.
Braxton is not sick. Feels fine, actually.
1, 2, 3. Oh, good job.
And while this 9-year-old has some trouble hearing, Braxton has no problem talking about the COVID test he just got.
Yeah, it feels so weird, but it did not hurt me so much.
This is the Ohio School for the Deaf, the state's only public school serving kids who are deaf or hard of hearing.
This is my birth time, Ashley.
And they are part of a nationwide pilot program working to test kids like Braxton for COVID.
One of the fastest ways to ensure that schools can stay open and we can provide services to our students is to make sure that we're safe. We have quick surveillance.
Toby Reeves Valentine is the school nurse. The beauty of this program is that it enables her to do all the testing right here in school, and results come back within 24 hours.
I see it moving forward to being another tool, like we do our vision screenings. It's another tool for parents, families to feel safe.
For Toby, so much of this is personal.
I wouldn't want that for anybody.
Early on in the pandemic, she lost both of her sisters to COVID, and she's determined to keep the virus from spreading if she can.
Losing pieces of your life, and that's what happens. So, but no, and I know I make them proud by helping other people.
There's another layer to this program as well. Moving into the fall, it will ensure that schools like this one can stay open if cases start to spike again, and if the vaccine still hasn't been approved for all age levels.
About 4 million kids under the age of 12 have tested positive for COVID in the last year. They represent nearly 14% of all new cases. Currently, Pfizer and Moderna are conducting vaccine trials for kids between the ages of 6 months and 11 years old.
Even though we all want to be done with the pandemic, the reality is the virus is not done with us.
Mark Stevenson is with Thermo Fisher. They are the ones who collect and test all those samples sent in by the Ohio School for the Deaf.
It takes advantage of federal funding that was made available for testing.
The program is called Ready, Check, Go. And while most of the country is emerging from COVID, testing in residential school environments like this one is still critically important, especially when students are too young to be vaccinated.
We need to be able to track and isolate any cases so that we're not shutting down schools.
These are our students and families, and we want to make sure they're safe and they feel protected, and we're able to keep public education open.
And that might be the most important lesson anyone here can walk away with. In Columbus, Ohio, I'm Chris Conti.
And it has been a hot and humid day here across the area with temperatures making up into the lower 90s. It could be a lot worse this time of year, but still some swimming pool weather out there. Partly cloudy, 90 degrees, feeling like 96. Winds are calm. There are some showers and thunderstorms down to our south, and a couple of those may sneak in later on today as we will be seeing a sea breeze front move in from the southeast. So we may see some of those get up toward Bryan College Station later on. Other than that, things have been pretty quiet across the region for today as the sea breeze front again active north of I-10 and sliding into the Brazos Valley. A lot of that activity will die out around sunset, but some folks may get some gusty winds out of that. Other thunderstorms near Austin, those will be dying out as they make their way up toward central Texas for this evening. So as you can see, we may have a few of those thunderstorms creep through between now and 10 o'clock, but overall, not expecting anything too significant out there. Maybe some gusty winds, a brief heavy downpour in some of the stronger thunderstorms. By 6 o'clock Wednesday morning, things are pretty quiet. We may have a few more isolated thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So again, throwing about a 20 to 30% chance in each afternoon with clouds in the morning, breaking out to some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms into the afternoon hours. And that trend is pretty much going to continue for the rest of the week. So tonight, temperatures down into the mid 70s when you wake up in the morning and should make into the lower 90s, feeling like the upper 90s when you factor in that humidity during the afternoon. So for the next 10 days, 91 degrees Wednesday and Thursday, again, isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms pretty much each and every afternoon with high temperatures into the 90s and no 100s in the forecast. That's good news. And we may have a few thunderstorm chances and maybe slightly better chances by the middle part of next week.
Toxic blue-green algae blooms are showing up across the country. Health officials know that humans and pets should avoid coming into contact with that algae, but what about the air you breathe in nearby? As Maya Rodriguez tells us, there's now an effort underway to figure that out.
Inside this air-conditioned lab,
so I'm going to turn on a pump that'll push air through.
Floats a summer scourge.
They've been around, we think, 3.5 billion years.
These ancient organisms are toxic blue-green algae, also known as cyanobacteria.
And you can see the clouds of the cyanobacteria moving around in there.
Dr. Barry Rosen is a professor at the Water School at Florida Gulf Coast University. He's one of the preeminent experts in blue-green algae.
We just took our study to the next level.
That study is looking to figure out what happens when blue-green algae goes airborne, and this specially designed machine may hold some answers.
This is an artificial lung in many senses.
Using air to move the water around, filters in this machine capture airborne toxic blue-green algae particles, similar to how our lungs would if we breathed it in.
We know that it probably gets into our nasal passages, how much gets into our lungs, Is it a concentration to be concerned of? Because we find it pretty much everywhere.
That's anywhere freshwater bodies meet pollution from agricultural and development runoff. Coupled with summer's high temperatures, blue-green algae can rapidly grow.
They like warm water. They start making more of each other in warm water, and so that's a concern we have looking forward with a warming planet, is that some of these blue-green algae blooms might be more common than they were in the past.
And potentially exposing more people to more blue-green algae. Just in the past month, blue-green algae blooms have taken hold not just in Florida, but in lakes in Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, and New York, among others.
A lot of these algal blooms are actually indicators that there's something wrong with the environment, and we're the people that are ultimately responsible for doing that.
And the toxins are potentially dangerous.
Well, the concentration that can harm you is very, very low. They're very potent natural toxins. But the aerosols we know very little about, and we're working on that very diligently.
In an effort to keep everyone safe.
We need to solve that piece of the puzzle.
In Fort Myers, Florida, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
All right, Maya, thank you. And in addition to the work that Dr. Rosen and his team are doing, the CDC is starting a study this month. Now, everything just keeps getting more expensive. New numbers out today from the Consumer Price Index show that inflation went up 0.9% in June. That is now more than 5% increase since last year. The auto industry is continuing to account for most of the inflation, with car rentals, used cars, and gas topping the list for the highest price hikes, with laundry machines, airfare, and hotels following. Now, finally in our lineup today, you have seen the hiring bonuses that more companies are offering. The latest incentive could be giving you a better job title. We're going to get answers on what perks could actually come with that. You should continue to have a lot of options if you're looking for a new job this year. More than half of U.S. companies plan to add new permanent positions in the second half of 2021. Another 48% plan to fill vacated positions or bring back furloughed employees. This is according to a survey out today from talent solutions firm Robert Half. Now, people who've been in business for decades say they've never seen the war on talent like it is right now. And one incentive to watch for that you may not have heard about is a better job title to get you in the door.
What we're finding is that existing employees, as well as new employees, prospective employees, are being offered new job titles, changes in the job titles, in addition to those other areas, sign-on bonuses or additional bonuses for existing employees to help retain their services.
40% of companies tell Robert Half that they're offering better job titles. This could be changing a title from accounting assistant to staff accountant, for example. Now, something to watch for, this may not always mean better pay.
I think what we're seeing is that, you've got salary bands within organizations that have to be adhered to. You've got existing employees that, you can't just bring somebody in at a higher pay that doesn't have additional experience and they're at the same level.
But companies believe just having that recognition with your job title will be a big part of retention. Now, the number of people quitting jobs has been on the rise. But hiring experts warn if you are looking to switch careers, it's going to be difficult right now without getting new skills. Now, the U.S. market for hemp expected to triple by 2027, and hemp production is ramping up in some places that you might not expect. Tomorrow, why farmers who have typically focused on citrus